It'll be obvious he's the most popular guy on the team.
Jeez.
What is so special? Why does everyone love this guy so much?
Dillon Gabriel's over there just twiddling his fingers. Shedeur Sanders had been getting a lot of positive praise for being the potential QB1 over there for the Browns, but it seems like some of that is coming to a halt. Everybody's favorite hater, Mr. Tony Grossi. Hey, y'all, that's what y'all call him. He seems to be pumping the brakes on a lot of the hype that is coming along with Shedeur Sanders. Look, it's hard to stop the Shedeur hype machine, all right? You're going to have to do a lot more to do that than stop it. But this is what Tony Grossi has to say. He says, to claim the starting job over Flacco, the other quarterbacks are going to have to learn how to run the play-action passing game. You got other reports of the fact that Shedeur Sanders, he says Shedeur Sanders is just so far behind everybody. And we're going to get deeper into that. We're going to start here, obviously, with the Cleveland radio. You got Tony Grossi. He's going to give his thoughts and reports on kind of the fanfare around the starting quarterback. And it seems like the Dillon Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders battle is just not even close. So let's hear it right away. What does Tony Grossi have to say?
The people in Colorado have been dying for somebody
These
to
are the
ask.
real questions, right?
They want to know, Tony, why every time you mention Shedeur Sanders, particularly when it comes to his success, you also mention Dillon Gabriel. Like, Shedeur's success can't live on its own. It's always living in your mind with Dillon Gabriel alongside of him.
These are the real questions, dog.
That seems to be the case.
I just think Gabriel is overlooked because of the massive shadow that Shedeur casts. And I get the feeling that everyone thinks Shedeur is the only player out there working hard. And he's the only one who's the last to leave. But I think people are overlooking. There's another quarterback that the Browns rated higher than him. So be prepared if you see that guy play before Shedeur, because they like him a lot.
Nah, dog. Nobody is saying that. Okay, that's crazy. Like, I don't like the fact that, you know, and Tony Grossi's older, right? I'm not calling him old, but he's an older gentleman. For the generation that likes to come down on, you know, younger generations for, you know, how people say participation trophies and XYZ and all this other stuff. I mean, is there anything more participation trophy than, well, I mean, Dillon Gabriel's not getting any. Okay, that means he has less pressure? I don't understand. If Dillon Gabriel is actually working and actually improving, like on this channel we have shown, and we're going to get into some film at the back end of this video, but we show consistently Dillon Gabriel can spin it. I tell y'all, and y'all call me a glazer, and some of y'all call me a hater when I praise Dillon Gabriel. But the lefty's got some zip on him. There is a reason why he was drafted in the third round. Right, he's the leader in FBS touchdown, I believe, in career touchdown record for FBS football. It's a lot of words to say that he threw a lot of touchdowns. He's operated in some high-powered offenses, right? He's played in college football playoff. He's done some things, tangible, intangible, right? Great dude. Great dude. One of the first things he did when he got out of, when he got to the league, he bought his alma mater in high school brand new, I think they were Jordan too, brand new football uniforms. You know who talked about that? This channel, dog. And I'm not saying I'm the end all be all, but to say that people aren't giving credit to Dillon Gabriel, you mean there's not a magnifying glass on Dillon Gabriel? You mean that he can just sit back in the cut, and if he's really getting better, and if he's really widening the gap on Shedeur Sanders, like some of these reports say, what's the issue? What would be the problem? And then I have to say, to the other point, at what point, back to the whole, like, you know, participation trophy thing, Dillon Gabriel wasn't popular coming out of college. And that's disrespectful. Not to say he wasn't popular. I like Dillon Gabriel. But I mean, like a social media, like a figure. That's just not his bag. He's a cool dude. He be vibing. He's dope. He's super nice, super humble, like Polynesian. He's awesome. No one has anything, I don't think, negative to say about Dillon Gabriel, but he's not flicking up. I think he does TikTok dances with his lady. You feel me? He's got that fresh Pacifica, that Chrysler Pacifica. He went viral for that. I think that was cool. He's a good character, dog. But Shedeur Sanders has had a camera on him since he was like in middle school. So it's not a disrespect to Dillon Gabriel. It's that the aunties know about that. That's why there's the CU aunties. And not to disrespect any of their, because I'm sure there's some college sports who got their auntie allegiance. So let me not even disrespect any college aunties, all right? But I don't know many auntie conglomerations that go as hard as the CU aunties do for Shedeur. That's a whole different demographic, right? Ball players know Dillon Gabriel, and they know he's a ball player. They know he's a dog, right? So this argument, Tony Grossi, is so crazy to me, and I hate when people make this argument because it's like you're a football media dude talking to other football intensely media people, right? Or at least people who are intently locked into football. So this lazy argument that, well, people just think that Dillon Gabriel's over there just twiddling his fingers. When I have reports that say Albert Breer on 92.3, the fan, discussed why the Browns didn't give Shedeur Sanders any first-team reps during the spring. Are we serious? Like, Tony Grossi, you're coming out saying that, what's it called? Dillon Gabriel's not getting the right media coverage? Because that's the only thing you can be mad about. Because Shedeur Sanders is the only quarterback that hasn't had first-team reps. Dillon Gabriel has. So what are you petitioning for? Are you petitioning for a media coverage? At that point, you're just asking for the circus that y'all didn't want with Shedeur, right? And this is the quote that they said. They say, I think Shedeur, and this isn't any fault of his own, that's what they said, had a lot more ground to cover than Dillon Gabriel. Because of that, it's harder to put him out there with the first team. Breer recalled his own reports during the pre-draft process about how Shedeur wasn't as up to speed on NFL concepts despite having Deion and Pat Shurmur coaching him, which was the craziest thing because, and don't worry, I got Tommy Reese is going to go ahead and say, hey, the exact opposite, but whatever. He had a bigger learning curve than Dillon Gabriel. There were teams that were stunned by how little Shedeur knew relative to what they thought. He was pretty far behind. This would explain why the Browns wanted Shedeur to work separate from the other quarterbacks and get as many practice reps as possible against the backups. I think the reality is he was pretty far behind to begin with. That's pretty damning. Now, do I agree with that fully? I think we need to kind of go with that because I think Tommy Reese says the exact opposite. But is that truthful, right? I believe in something, right? And it stems off something one of my high school football coaches said. And he says, you hang around, you start smelling like you feel me? And I have that saying about if somebody says something about you and they consistently say it about you, there has to be some sort of truth in it. Now, while this is the second time we've heard reports of teams being shocked by, oh my God, he doesn't, he just doesn't know anything, XYZ, he's so far behind. I only have two reports of that. I have the people who are front facing and what they consistently say, right? What they consistently say is that he does know what he's doing, that he is prepared. I saw somebody go out there and say, oh, well, why, if he was prepared, why didn't people say that report was a lie? Deion Sanders did say it was a lie. So I'm having a hard time to believe that there's only two and it's only anonymous. It's only my sources have this and that. But again, like I continue to say, the people with the names, the offensive coordinator for the Browns say that, hey, he's been putting in work in the classroom, in the playbook. So, hey, man, but let me hear what Tony Grossi also has to say about here. And I want to say one more thing about that Dillon Gabriel thing.
You've seen some training camp circuses. You were here for Tim Couch. You were here for Johnny Manziel. You were here for Baker Mayfield's rookie year and Brady Quinn's rookie year. What is going to be unique or different about Shedeur in training camp and preseason games?
Well, he's got such incredible fan support that I think if he isn't given any opportunities, the Browns are going to hear about that from their fans. I think at training, when fans attend training camp, it'll be obvious he's the most popular guy on the team.
Jeez.
I can feel that.
The
already.
fourth-string quarterback is the most popular guy on the team.
Tony, I feel like you stopped short of saying the fans are going to riot.
No, no, but I think if they comport themselves like they do online, they may. Because I think there's a natural curiosity, too, even from unbiased fans of the Browns. Like, what is so special? Why does everyone love this guy so much?
What is so special? Why do people love this guy so much? Now, I don't mean to frame it in a way that makes it seem like I'm being a little bit critical of what Tony Grossi is going to put down or what he is putting down. But I'm happy that he said it because it leads me back to the point to end this part, right? Because we got some actual throws to get into. We're going to watch a little film from people, right? And this is what former Browns offensive lineman, again, now this does not conflate what Albert Breer says, but we keep getting reports like this, right? And this is also on 92.3 The Fan. So this is from the same place, just a different report. When asked which quarterback impressed him the most, former Browns offensive lineman says Jason Pinkston pointed at Shedeur Sanders after watching him practice last week. He says, I do like Shedeur. I saw him throw some balls to some windows, and I was like, wow, he throws a really nice football. Now, that does not go against what he's saying right here. I think the reality, he was pretty far behind. This idea, right, and it's crazy because, you know, the video I just made about Peter Schragg's, what's it called? Peter Schragg's was on Pat McAfee show, and I made a video about it, and I was like, hey, don't change the narrative. Stick with the narrative. In the narrative, which is, again, if this is what you're going with, you know, go with it, was that, you know, he just couldn't read defenses, and it was impossible. It was all this stuff. So stick with this narrative. Don't come out, and that's what I see with a lot of the mainstream media, because they know what Shedeur Sanders brings, right? They're trying to spin it to be like, oh, well, we just thought, you know, it was an unconventional draft style. We just thought, he didn't throw at the combine. That's why he they're going to gaslight. So I do respect this person for saying that, hey, this did align with some of the things that were said. I can't, hey, y'all know me. I'm gonna keep it peachy keen. But again, I'm going to fight against that because Deion has said it. And, you know, how much you believe Deion? Hey, it's up to you. It's up to you. But that's what Deion, hey, that's Shedeur's people. That's his only representation. I got to believe that. I have to believe with offensive coordinators at the NFL level and Pat Shurmur stamping him, I have to believe that he gave him at least something, right? And then on top of that, I have to ask the question, right? You know, how often – what's it called? How often has Shedeur Sanders even gotten a snap under? It's taking a snap, rather. I'm sorry, taking a snap, not just a shotgun, but underneath the gosh darn pipe. What is it called? Under center. Jeez, I don't know why I can get it out. How often has he really been under center? That is a bigger change than I think a lot of people realize too. But it could be for a plethora of things. Do I think that it's possible that he was underdeveloped? Sure. But do I think that the Oregon offensive scheme was even more advanced? I don't know. You know, I don't know if the Oregon offense or the Oklahoma and, well, I'll give you that. Oklahoma, it would probably be a little more advanced. UCF's offensive scheme, I think that was still Gus Malzahn back then. If I'm, you know, please correct me, UCF fans, all 12 of y'all that are in my audience, y'all please let me know. But let's get into it. Let's get deeper into, you know, what these guys bring to the table, both on and off the field. And I want to stress this. This is, I know we're gonna start with Tommy Rees, offensive coordinator. Speaking specifically about what Shedeur Sanders has worked on, not just being on the field, but in the classroom.
He's worked his tail off. You know, he's really put in a lot of work, as was like all those guys are. But you know, you could tell on the mental side of the game and learning the system and calling it and having that rhythm to it. You know, he's put a lot of work and time and effort into that. And then when you do that, the game starts to slow down and you can focus on finding completions. He's done a nice job of that as camp progressed.
Again, the stressor there now, because y'all know I like to be fair. I like to be fair. Could he have been saying that because, hey, Shedeur Sanders, he actually had to spend more time, you know, learning about stuff? Because I will say, and I don't know how much y'all trust Mary Kay, right? I don't know how much y'all trust Mary Kay, but Mary Kay also reported that, hey, the only like issue that Shedeur Sanders had problems with is pre-snap stuff, is pre-snap and play calling. Other than that, obviously you can't deny what he does when he throws the football. I mean, he's making these. If it is all second team, he's making these second teamers look pretty good. This ball is just absolutely phenomenal. And this throw, I like this throw a lot because it really demonstrates why both Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel fit in this offense, and why they're both going to have to nail and claw to get either first team reps and or to finally start, because it's going to take a lot. Because they both require and do things, and they have the mentality, right? There's a certain mentality to want to throw over a linebacker, over a covered wide receiver at the back of the end zone. That takes a bit of, hey, I got some balls for you, right? I got a big pair of them. Okay. Is this another touchdown here? We're just getting through some of the things. Another angle of that, again, I just think this really says for the most Stefanskiest throw of all time. Is this the only throw I got? Oh, don't worry. We can just go right over here, dog. Don't you worry. Let's get into some more throws here. Just watch some stuff, and man, I just have to say the zip has the spirals are tight. Everything is smooth right now, man. Oh, this is that interception again. We're not gonna go for the interception again. What else we got? We got plenty of different ones. Man. Plenty of different. Oh, here's a long one too. But yeah, to end off the Shedeur, because we're gonna, we gotta talk about Dillon Gabriel. I know some of y'all don't like it. You can click off the video now if you don't like us talking about Dillon Gabriel. What I see is, again, to the main point, and the point that we're going to get to Dillon Gabriel is somebody who's got the idea, who wants to really put the ball in a lot of great places and has the arm talent to back the things up and back up the throws that he's doing. He's making the receivers look good. And I think that's something that's very underrated, but you get that for a lot of quarterbacks who just put balls in really good spots. And a lot of my commenters have said, he prides himself on throwing a ball that just you want to catch, right? It's easy to catch. You're not going to burn your hands up trying to deal with it. So I think a lot of these things that he's showing physically wise, right, are shining through. But we also have to be fair, and we have to be fair and to give Dillon Gabriel his credit, like we're about to do, and saying, look, is it a possibility that, because you can frame things, right? I can frame Shedeur Sanders not knowing offenses as, oh, he just doesn't know offenses. Or I can frame it as, well, Pat Shurmur ran a different offense. And the offense that Shedeur was running before was a different offense. You don't think having 8 offensive coordinators also doesn't make you probably not as deep? It makes you very shallow. He's probably heard a lot of concepts, right? But is his understanding deep? Probably not, right? Going from Oklahoma offense to the Oregon offense is probably similar for Dillon Gabriel. Not to disrespect Dillon Gabriel, because again, if he's ready, he's ready. He's prepared, right? But at the same time, does that mean he doesn't know offenses? No. I think having all those coordinators might have helped him in adaptability, and we might see him be able to We might see him be able to not even mature, but maybe just learn a little quicker, right? Maybe that's what he has, and maybe that's what he puts together. But for Dillon Gabriel, right? Why like Dillon Gabriel? Why do you think he's a guy? This was pre-draft. This was back in April. So again, Tony Grossi, if you think people don't think that he's a guy, let's hear what some people were saying pre-draft about old Dillon Gabriel.
People think that Dillon Gabriel has like marginal NFL tools physically, but he's athletic, he's strong, and he's got a strong arm. Like, Dillon Gabriel has functional, if not pretty solid, NFL physical traits other than the fact that he's short.
I think he zips it, man. I mean, better arm than Will Howard, better arm than Jackson Dart, than Shedeur Sanders, and some of the other guys that are considered to be big arm, or, that are considered either near the top of the draft, or a guy like Will Howard, who's considered a toolsy type of player.
The other thing, obviously, is literally the most experienced quarterback to enter the NFL ever. 63 starts in college. That's already, that's now breaking the Bo Nix record, which was the previous, most experience ever. Unlike Bo Nix, he was actually good everywhere. Bo Nix at least had struggles on his way to being everywhere. A 60 start quarterback. Dillon Gabriel was good everywhere.
Proof's in the pudding there. And like I said, UCF, I believe he had an injury here, but 3,600 yards, 3,500 yards, the efficiency only just gets better with age. These 2 years in particular are phenomenal in my opinion. 3,600 yards in Oklahoma. I hate Oklahoma because I'm a Longhorn fan, so I didn't like what you were doing. But he did a great 69% percentage, and then follows that up in a better offense, mind you, more weapons, but still 72% completion. He's asked to throw the ball even more, 3,857 yards with another 30 touchdowns. Keeps this consistent, keeps the interceptions consistent, stays out of there, and then does some dirty work on the ground as well. And then you got to see him absolutely zip the ball. I want that touchdown over. Do I have it here? I think I do. We got a few throws for him. And the zip is so apparent with him. It's actually kind of ridiculous. That thing hops out of his hand, and he drills these balls. These balls are hard. They're fast. They've got a lot of velocity. But hey, Shedeurs are nice little rainbows too. So I say all that to say, look, Tony, I don't think anyone doesn't think Dillon Gabriel isn't putting in hard work. I think anyone who's watching football and anyone who's been watching OTAs see the velocity. They see him not make many mistakes, right? Obviously, he's had his interceptions or XYZ. And I do want to point that out. That was in, I better watch out for DG now. That thing nice, right? I do want to point out that was in rookie OTA. So he hasn't really had any interceptions in, what's it called? Actual real deal OTAs in these situations. But regardless, both of these quarterbacks, they really have a lot of tools that work well in what Kevin Stefanski wants to do and wants to make happen. It's going to be hard and tough sledding for both of these quarterbacks. But hey, look, if some people are saying that the NFL players really like Shedeur Sanders, and then other people are saying, well, Dillon Gabriel really has the opportunity in when it comes to pre-snap and things like that. We're at a crossroads here, and something's got to give. Something's got to give immediately. But hey, man, y'all let me know what you think down below in the comment section. Please like this video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy football content of all shapes, sizes, and form. Continue to be great. We'll see you next time. Peace. Live audio.